friends, this is Mrs. Van Doren, and this is Lovey, and today we start our day. It's April 2nd, and today I lighted up blue. Today kicks off World Autism Month, so here we are in blue, and Lovey's taking her bath. Today I am going to read chapter 16 of Hank Zipzer, The Life of Me, by Henry Winkler and Lynn Oliver. When we left off yesterday, the last time on chapter 15, Hank is very embarrassed because he ran out of the bowling alley. He lost the bowling match to Nick McKelty, and he was very embarrassed. He ran out. So now he's back home, and let's see what happens. Chapter 16. The phone was ringing when I burst into my apartment. The minute I heard it, I hoped it was Zoe telling me not to be embarrassed, because she isn't a very good bowler either, telling me to come back and get my notebook that I had forgotten to pick up, telling me that Nick was a jerk and I was just the kind of guy she truly admired. "It's for you," Emily said, handing me the phone, "and it's a girl." Yes, it was Zoe. No other girl ever calls me. "Hi, Zoe," I said. Hank?" said the voice on the other end of the phone. "Sorry to disappoint you, but it's me, Mr. Rock." I looked over at Emily, and she was holding her sides laughing. Wait until I was off the phone. I was going to get her good. I was going to tell Dad on her the minute he came out of wherever he was. "Mr. Rock," I said into the phone, "I'm sorry. My sister said you were a girl." "Well, your sister needs to take a science lesson," Mr. Rock laughed. Emily was still laughing when she walked back to the dining room table where Robert was holding Catherine and trying to feed her one of the parsnip and squash squares they had baked. I figured those stinky squares were probably why our entire apartment smelled like the inside of a rotten vegetable bin. Catherine hissed at Robert every time he tried to shove an iguana treat near her snout. "Do you want to talk to me or to my dad?" I asked Mr. Rock. "Most of the time, if a teacher calls our house, they're just calling to tell my parents that I messed up on something. So I figured he was calling my dad." "Actually, it's you I'd like to speak with," Mr. Rock said. "I was wondering if you had made a decision on whether to continue with reading gym." "Reading gym sounds like fun, Mr. Rock. Really and truly it does. But I promised Frankie and Ashley that I'd stick with Taekwondo." "Are you sure about this decision, Hank?" "See, I promised Frankie I'd be his sparring partner. He's counting on me." "As I said in school, Hank, although I highly recommend the reading gym, in the end, it's your choice. If you're sure of your decision, I'll go ahead and assign a new partner to Zoe. See you tomorrow, Hank." "Wait, Mr. Rock, did you say I was going to be Zoe's partner?" "Yes, she requested you." "As in, I'd like to work with Hank?" "Exactly." "She really said that?" "Yes." "Mr. Rock, could you hold on a minute, please?" I covered up the phone and started to pace. Emily and Robert both stopped their parsnip squash feeding frenzy and stared at me. Even Catherine took a break from her hissing and focused her bulgy, beady eyes on me. Our dog Cheerio ran back and forth with me, staying right in between my legs, so that I nearly tripped on him with every step I took. Everyone, human, reptile, and cute little four-legged furry guy, was feeling my dilemma. "Taekwondo versus reading gym," I whispered out loud, pacing back and forth. "If you ask me, reading is pretty important," Emily said. Then she did a weird thing. She came over to me and put her hand on my shoulder in a nice, friendly kind of way. "Plus, you really did seem to like Zoe, and it seems like she did request you." Was this Emily the annoying being Emily the helpful? Robert came over to me and put his scrawny little hand on my shoulder. Man, this was getting too weird. "Love is what makes the world go round, Hank," he said, looking all gaga-eyed at Emily. Then he got hold of himself and turned back into super nude nerd. Love and orbital force, of course. Cheerio looked up at me and yipped. I don't speak dog, but I think I saw him smiling with his bottom teeth. Could he be nodding yes? I put the phone up to my ear. Okay, Mr. Rock, I'm in. In what, Hank? I need you to commit. Get out the trampoline and fire up the pommel horse. I'm going to Reading Gym. That's a good decision, Hank. You're a smart kid. See you tomorrow. He hung up, and suddenly there I was, with Emily's hand on one shoulder and Robert's on the other. That was unacceptable. Okay, guys, the love fest is over, I said. Besides, Catherine is hissing for you. The junior science brigade went back to their parsnip party, and Cheerio rolled over for a belly scratch. I think he was proud of me, too. Either that or his belly just itched. By the way, Emily, don't discuss this with Dad, I said as I scratched Cheerio. Why not? I'm sure he'd rather you learn to read than learn to fight. I have my reasons, I said. Okay, Emily said, but this will cost you. You will make my bed all week. That's ridiculous. No deal. Dad, Emily called out, Hank has something to tell you. A second later, my dad stuck his head out of the kitchen. What is it, Hank? He asked. Emily looked over at me and smiled. Okay, deal, I said. Hank just wanted to tell you that we both think Catherine really likes you, she said. That's good, my dad said. Tell Catherine I like her too. Now, can I get back to my crossword? Sure, said Emily. Thanks, Dad. Even though I had Emily's word to keep it a secret, I couldn't really feel comfortable with my decision until I told Frankie and Ashley that I was dropping out of martial arts. I decided to do it right away, like plunging into a freezing ocean all at once, rather than edging yourself in 1 inch at a time. I took the elevator to the basement, where we have our clubhouse in the storeroom next to the laundry. Frankie and Ashley said they'd be down there practicing some taekwondo. I tiptoed by the laundry room, trying my best to avoid running into whatever adult was in there. I find that when adults are folding towels, they get very talkative and like to tell you about how far they walked to school when they were growing up and what their mom used to cook for their special birthday dinners. I don't know what it is about warm towels. They just bring out memories, I guess. I thought I was safely past the laundry room when our neighbor, Mrs. Fink, stuck her head out into the hall. She was in her pink, fluffy bathrobe and her fluffy pink matching slippers. That might sound like a weird thing to be wearing at 4:30 in the afternoon, but I understood it. It was a cold February day, and personally, I think it's really fun on a cold day to bundle up in warm pajamas and hang out in a toasty place, which the laundry room certainly was. Hank, she said, come in and say hi while I finish folding the towels. Gee, Mrs. Fink, I'd really like to, but Frankie and Ashley are waiting for me, and it's kind of an emergency. Nothing wrong, I hope. Oh, no, it's not a something's wrong kind of emergency, more of a we have to talk kind of emergency. You go on your way then, darling, and stop by my apartment later for a piece of my apple cinnamon sugar cake. I remember my mother always made it for my special birthday dinners. What'd I tell you? It's the warm towels. As I headed down the hall, I wondered if someday, when I was folding towels and ran into Kid, I'd tell them about how my mom always made me a tofu scramble with dandelion greens on special days. Somehow, it didn't jump out at you like an apple cinnamon sugar cake. When I walked into the clubhouse, Frankie was sprawled on the big flowered couch, and Ashley was crumpled up on a ball on the floor. They were both wearing their gis. This looks more like taekwondo than taekwondo, I said. They both cracked up. At least Frankie did, and I was pretty sure Ashley did, because I could see her ponytail shaking as it rested on her back. Sure, you guys are laughing now, but wait until I think out on you. Will you be laughing then? I'm beat, Frankie said. Practicing these moves is hard work. You wait and see. Ashley spoke from her curled up ball. My arms are sore, my legs are sore, my feet are sore, even my forehead is sore. That's because Ashwina's no match for me, Frankie said. I need you, Zip, to be a real partner. Okay, Hank, you're on. Open your mouth and let it fly. So, about the partner thing, I said, I think I'm deciding, no, I've for sure decided that I'm not going to do the Taekwondo class. I'm taking reading gym instead. Ashley uncurled herself from the ball and looked at Frankie. He looked at me and then back at her. It was very quiet in the clubhouse. I know you guys are disappointed, I said, talking really fast, but it's just that I stink at reading and Mr. Rock says that I need practice or Zip, Frankie said. Stop. Not another word, Ashley agreed. Wow, Hank, they must be really mad at you to not even let you explain. I think it's cool that you're getting reading help, Frankie said. And I think it's cool that you found Zoe to share the class with, Ashley said. So you guys aren't mad at me? I said softly. Not even a little, Aunt Ashley answered. Frankie gave me a thumbs up sign. You got to do what you got to do, Zip. One more thing, I added. I'm not telling my dad about the switch. You know how upset he gets when he thinks I need special help. So as far as he knows, we're all doing Taekwondo together. My lips are sealed, Frankie said, pretending to zip up his lips. Your secret is my secret, Ashley agreed. Suddenly, I felt like the luckiest guy in the world. I mean, think of it. I had two best friends who understood me and really and truly wanted what was best for me. I had a hat-wearing, drum-playing girl who requested me as her reading partner. I had two matching socks and a new Mets sweatshirt. And I had knocked down a bowling pin without pulling my arm out of its socket. I sat down with Frankie and Ashley and told them all about my meeting with Zoe. I told them about all the things I said to McKelty, and they were so proud of my quick wit. Although Frankie did give me a lecture about using an orange swirly ball in public. We laughed until our stomachs hurt. After a while, Mrs. Fink stuck her head in and gave us all big slices of her apple cinnamon sugar cake. Some days just work out perfectly. And that is the end of chapter 16. Until the next time, and light up the blue today. Okay? Bye, friends.